You've been watching his actions, analyzing his texts, wondering if he's just being nice or if there's something deeper happening. But here's the brutal truth that nobody wants to tell you. The things you think show love, the compliments, the attention, the effort he puts in, those aren't love indicators. They're interest indicators. And there's a massive difference. Yes, a man might do those things for any woman he finds attractive, any woman he's trying to impress, or any woman he wants to keep around. But real love, the kind that makes a man see you as his person, his future, his everything, shows up in ways you're probably not even noticing. There are 6 specific behaviors that a man will only display for the woman he's genuinely, deeply in love with. Not infatuated with, not attracted to. In love with. And no, it's not grand romantic gestures. It's not expensive gifts or constant communication. It's something far more subtle, far more meaningful, and honestly far more reliable than anything you've been told to look for. These behaviors come from a place so deep in a man's psyche that he doesn't even realize he's doing them differently. But once you know what to look for, you'll never question his feelings again. Most women miss these signs completely because they're looking for the obvious. But the obvious isn't where love lives. Love lives in the details, in the shifts, in the things he does without thinking, and that changes everything. Let's destroy the biggest lie in modern dating right now. You've been told that men show love through action, through effort, through consistency. And while that's partially true, it's dangerously incomplete. Because here's what that advice misses. Men show effort for many women. They show consistency with women they find convenient. They take action when they want something. But love makes a man behave in ways that he have nothing to do with trying to win you and everything to do with already seeing you as his. The myth says men are simple, that they either like you or they don't, that their intentions are always clear. But this oversimplification has women analyzing every text, every gesture, every interaction, trying to decode what's really in his heart. And the truth is, most men don't even know they're behaving differently until they're already in deep. Think about it. When a man is trying to impress you, his actions are calculated. When a man is attracted to you, his behavior is consistent but surface level. But when a man loves you, truly loves you, something shifts at a cellular level. His protective instincts activate differently. His future planning includes you automatically. His emotional availability expands in ways it never has before. The problem is, we've been conditioned to look for the performance of love instead of the presence of it. We look for the things he does to show us he cares instead of noticing the things he does because he can't help himself. We focus on effort when we should be focusing on instinct. Because here's the reality. A man can put in effort with multiple women. He can be charming, attentive, and even vulnerable with several people at once. But there are specific behaviors, specific shifts in his nature that only happen when his heart has chosen someone, when his soul recognizes home. These aren't things he decides to do. They're things that emerge from him naturally when he's with the woman he loves. And understanding this difference isn't just about reading his signals better. It's about recognizing your own worth and not settling for performance when you deserve presence. So let's break down exactly what real love looks like in action, because once you see it, you'll understand why these 6 things are so powerful, so telling, and so impossible to fake. Here's something most women don't realize. Men are taught from childhood to handle their struggles alone, to be the strong one, to figure it out without burdening anyone else. So when a man starts including you in his problems, not just celebrating his victories with you, something fundamental has shifted. This isn't about him trauma dumping or making you his therapist. This is about him naturally turning to you when life gets heavy, when work is stressing him out, when family drama emerges, when he's facing a difficult decision. He doesn't disappear to handle it alone. He brings you into his process. I had a client, Sarah, who told me about a moment that changed everything for her. Her boyfriend had been offered a job in another city. Great opportunity, life-changing money, but it would mean leaving everything behind. Instead of making the decision and then telling her about it, he called her first, not to ask permission, but to think through it together. He said, "I can't make this choice without considering how it affects us. Help me think this through." That's love. Because men who are just dating you, men who see you as temporary or optional, they make decisions and then inform you. Men who love you make decisions with your input because they can't imagine their future without considering your place in it. But here's the deeper truth. When a man includes you in his problems, he's not just sharing information. He's sharing power. He's saying your opinion matters in shaping his life. Your perspective has weight in his world. Your voice influences his choices. This shows up in small ways too. He tells you about the argument he had with his friend, not for advice necessarily, but biki. Or you're part of his inner world now. He shares his worries about his parents' health because he needs you to understand what he's carrying. He talks through his career concerns because he trusts your judgment and values your insight. Most women focus on whether he's sharing his feelings, but feelings are just the surface. When a man starts sharing his problems, his decisions, his internal struggles, he's sharing his life. He's making you a partner in his decision-making process, not just a recipient of his final choices. And here's what makes this so significant. Men protect what they love, but they also trust what they love with their vulnerability. When he stops trying to be perfect for you and starts being human with you, when he lets you see him in his uncertainty and asks for your perspective, he's not just being vulnerable. He's making you an integral part of how he navigates the world. That's not something men do casually. That's not something they do with everyone. That's love showing up in the most practical, life-changing way possible. Watch a man's body when he's with different women and you'll see something fascinating. With women he's attracted to, he might lean in, make eye contact, mirror her movements. But with the woman he loves, his entire physical presence shifts into something deeper, protection mode. This isn't about jealousy or control. This is about instinct. When a man truly loves you, his body automatically positions itself as a shield between you and anything that might cause you discomfort. He walks on the side closest to traffic. He steps slightly forward when someone approaches you both. He creates space for you in crowds without even thinking about it. I remember working with a woman who said, I didn't realize it until my friend pointed it out, but whenever we're out together, he's always scanning the room, not checking out other women, but making sure I'm comfortable, that no one's bothering me, that I have what I need. She'd never asked him to do this. He wasn't trying to impress her. It was pure instinct. This protective body language shows up in subtle ways that most women miss. The way he positions his body when you're talking to create a sense of privacy. How he naturally moves closer when other men are around. Not out of insecurity, but out of an unconscious desire to signal that you're with him. The way his hand finds the small of your back when you're walking through a crowded space. But here's the crucial difference. This isn't possessive behavior. Possessive men try to control your interactions. Men in love try to make your interactions more comfortable. There's no tension in his protection, no demand that you stay close or avoid certain people. It's just his natural instinct to make your environment feel safer and more pleasant. You'll notice he becomes hyper-aware of your comfort in ways he never was before. If you're cold, he's already taking off his jacket before you mention it. If you're tired, he's creating space for you to rest without being asked. If someone's making you uncomfortable, he intervenes smoothly, naturally, without drama. This protective instinct extends to emotional protection too. He starts filtering what he shares based on what will serve you, not what will impress you. He becomes careful about introducing you to people who might drain your energy. He pays attention to what environments make you feel good and gravitates toward those. The beautiful thing about this behavior is its authenticity. You can't fake this kind of attunement. You can't perform this level of awareness. It urges naturally. When a man's heart has decided you're his to protect, his to care for, his to make sure is safe and happy in this world. When you see this shift, when his body starts naturally creating a sanctuary around you, that's not attraction. That's not even deep caring. That's love expressing itself through every cell in his being. Here's where most women get completely thrown off. In the beginning, men are in performance mode. They're trying to win you, impress you, show you their best qualities. But when a man falls in love, something counterintuitive happens. He stops performing and starts serving. This shift is so subtle that many women actually worry when it happens. They think he's not putting in as much effort anymore. But that's not what's happening at all. He's just moved from trying to earn your love to expressing his love, and the two look completely different. When he's trying to impress you, everything is about showcasing himself. The restaurants he chooses are designed to show his taste or his wallet. The activities he plans are meant to demonstrate his creativity or sophistication. Even his conversation is curated to highlight his intelligence, humor, or experience. But when he loves you, the focus shifts entirely. Now it's about what makes you happy, what serves your life, what adds value to your world. The restaurant choice becomes about your favorite cuisine or trying something you mentioned wanting to try. The activities shift to things that light you up, things that give you joy, things that matter to you. One of my clients described this perfectly. She said, in the beginning, he would plan these elaborate dates that were clearly designed to impress me. Expensive places, unique experiences, things he could tell his friends about. But now he notices that I love bookstores, so he finds little independent ones for us to explore. He remembers that I mentioned wanting to learn pottery, so he signs us up for a class. It's not about showing off anymore. It's about knowing me. This service orientation shows up in countless small ways. He starts remembering things that matter to you that have nothing to do with him. Your favorite coffee order, your work schedule, the names of your friends, and what's happening in their lives. He begins to see making you happy as a reward in itself, not a strategy for getting something in return. But here's the deeper truth. When a man stops trying to impress you and starts trying to serve you, he's revealing that his ego is no longer driving the relationship. His heart is. He's not worried about looking good anymore because he trusts that you see him, that you choose him, that you're not going anywhere. This is why women sometimes feel confused during this transition. The flashy gestures might decrease, but the thoughtful ones increase exponentially. He might stop planning Instagram-worthy dates, but he starts planning soul-nourishing experiences. He stops trying to be the most interesting man in your world and starts trying to be the most present one. The shift from performance to presence is one of the most reliable indicators that a man's feelings have moved from surface to soul. When he cares more about your experience than his image, when your happiness becomes his motivation instead of his accomplishment, when serving your joy feels more important than showcasing his worth, he's not just attracted to you anymore, he's in love with you. And that changes everything about how he shows up. Most men have emotional walls that have been built over years, sometimes decades. They've learned to compartmentalize, to keep certain parts of themselves private, to maintain emotional distance as a form of self-protection. But when a man truly loves you, those walls don't just come down, they dissolve. This isn't about him suddenly becoming an open book or sharing every feeling he's ever had. It's about a fundamental shift in his emotional availability. He becomes accessible to you in ways that even surprise him. Conversations that would normally make him uncomfortable become natural. Emotional territory he usually avoids becomes safe to explore with you. You'll notice he starts sharing not just what happened in his day, but how he felt about what happened. He begins to let you into his internal world, his thought processes, his fears and hopes in ways that feel organic, not forced. He stops editing himself around you emotionally. But here's what makes this so significant. Men don't just become emotionally available for any woman. They become emotionally available for the woman they trust with their heart, the woman they see as safe, as home, as someone who won't use their vulnerability against them. I worked with a client whose boyfriend had always been somewhat guarded about his family relationships, not secretive, just private. But after they'd been together for about 8 months, something shifted. He started talking about his complicated relationship with his father, his worries about his mother's health, his guilt about not being closer to his siblings, not because she pushed for these conversations, but because he began to need her emotional partnership in processing these relationships. This emotional availability shows up in his willingness to have difficult conversations without shutting down. He doesn't withdraw when things get intense. He doesn't change the subject when emotions run high. Instead, he leans in. he stays present. He works through things with you instead of processing them alone and returning with conclusions. You'll also notice he becomes more emotionally generous. He has more patience for your emotional needs, more capacity for your difficult days, more willingness to hold space for your processing. It's not that he becomes your emotional caretaker, but rather that he develops an expanded emotional bandwidth that includes you naturally. This shift happens because love fundamentally changes a man's emotional landscape. It doesn't make him soft or weak. It makes him deeper, more complex, more willing to engage with the full spectrum of human experience because he has someone he trusts to navigate it with. When you see this transformation, when he moves from emotional self-protection to emotional partnership, you're witnessing something profound. You're seeing a man who has decided that loving you is worth the risk of being fully seen, fully known, and fully present. That's not something men do lightly. That's not something they do with everyone. That's love rewiring his entire emotional operating system. Time is a man's most honest currency. He might say sweet things, he might make romantic gestures, but how he spends his time tells you everything you need to know about his priorities. And when a man loves you, something beautiful happens. Making time for you stops feeling like a sacrifice and starts feeling like a necessity. This isn't about him becoming available 24/7 or abandoning his other commitments. It's about a fundamental shift in how he views time spent with you. It moves from being something he chooses to do to something he needs to do. Your presence becomes essential to his well-being, not just enjoyable. You'll notice he stops treating time with you as separate from his regular life and starts integrating you into his regular life. Instead of scheduling specific date times, he begins including you in his everyday activities. Running errands becomes an opportunity to spend time together. His workout might become something he wants to share with you. Even his downtime naturally includes you. Now that you understand what love actually looks like in action, you have a choice to make. You can keep analyzing surface level behaviors, wondering if every text means something deeper, trying to decode mixed signals. Or you can start recognizing these deeper patterns and trusting what you see. But here's what's most important. These behaviors aren't things you can manipulate or manufacture. They emerge naturally when a man's heart recognizes home. So your job isn't to try to trigger these responses. Your job is to become the kind of woman who naturally evokes this level of love. That means being emotionally available yourself. It means being trustworthy with vulnerability. It means showing up consistently as someone worth including in major life decisions. It means being the kind of partner whose happiness naturally becomes essential to his well-being. Because here's the truth, you can't make someone love you, but you can make yourself lovable in the deepest sense of the word. Not by being perfect, not by being low maintenance, but by being authentically, completely yourself while maintaining the standards that attract lasting love. If you're not seeing these behaviors from the man in your life, that doesn't necessarily mean he doesn't care about you. But it does mean he hasn't reached the place where he can't imagine his future without you, and you deserve someone who has reached that place. Don't settle for surface level interest. Don't accept performance instead of presence. Don't convince yourself that potential is the same as reality. The right man won't make you wonder where you stand. These 6 behaviors will make it unmistakably clear. Your next move isn't about trying harder to get him to love you. It's about recognizing your worth and only accepting love that shows up in these profound, life-changing ways. Because when real love arrives, when a man's heart truly chooses you, you won't have to analyze his actions. You'll feel his love in every protected moment, every included decision, every natural priority, every dissolved wall, every shared hour, and every imagined tomorrow. And that's when you'll know this isn't just attraction or infatuation or convenience. This is a man who loves you completely, authentically, and forever. If this resonated with you, let me know in the comments which of these 6 behaviors surprised you the most. And remember, you're not here to convince anyone to love you. You're here to recognize who already does.